Alright, so today I'm going to do some algebra problems. Here I have a PDF file of an Algebra 2 practice test with about 128 questions. I'm just going to do the first 10 for this video, and then we'll carry on to like a part 2 and so on. So here for these 10 questions, I have the answers already. I'm just going to show you how to do them. So we're going to begin with number 1. So number 1 states, which is equivalent to 49 to the power of 3 halves. So for this one, I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 49 to the power of 3. And this is appropriate because it's pretty much the exact same thing as 49 to the power of 3 halves. So this is 49 to the power of 3 halves. This is equal to the square root of 49 to the power of 3. And so this is just the square root of 49 to the power of 3. I believe that's about 117, 649. And yes, I just used the calculator for that one. I know I could have just done that by hand, but oh well. And so the square root of that should be 343, and you can double check that if you want. All right, for number 2, we have which expression is another way to write the cube root of 125 times x to the power of 4. So for this one, you can easily do this in your head, but I'm just gonna write it out. So we have the cube root of 125x. Sorry, my handwriting is bad. X to the power of 4. And so I'm going to split that. So we'll have the cube root of 125 and then times the cube root of x to the power of 4. And so the cube root of 125 is basically 5. And then the cube root of x to the power of 4, I'm just going to rewrite that as x to the power of 4/3. Just like number 1, that's how you, it's another way of writing. And that matches answer B. For number 3, we have if x and y are real numbers, what is the simplified radical form of x squared times y to the power of 5, and all that is to the power of 1/5. So for this one, I like to write out the question. So we have x squared times y to the power of 5, and all that's to the power of 1/5. For this one, we can just multiply the powers. So we can multiply the 1/5 times 2, and then the 1/5 times the 5. And so that's just x to the power of 2/5 times y to the power of 5/5, that's just 1, so it's just y. And so with that, the y, I'm going to write the y out on the outside. So it's just y times, and then x to the power of 2/5. Again, we can write that as in a radical form. So that is just the 5th root of x squared. So that matches option A. And again, just to review, if we have x to the power of, let's say, a over b, that is just the exact same as the b root, so b, and then the root of of x to the power of a. So this is just another way of writing it. So number 4, we have what is the simplified expression of the square root of 36 times x to the power of 8 all over 4 times x to the power of 6. So for this one, I'm going to simplify inside the radical. So we have the square root of, sorry, my square root looks bad, but I'm going to write it out. So 36 x to the power of 8 over 4 x to the power of 6. So I'm going to simplify it in the inside. So 36 divided by 4, that is 9. And then we have x to the power of 8 divided by x to the power of 6. We can subtract the powers. So 8 minus 6 is 2. So we have x squared. And so for this, we can figure out the square root of that. So the square root of 9 is 3. And the square root of x to the power of 2, or x squared, is just x. And that is A. For number 5, what is the simplified form of 2 times square root of 5 plus 3 times square root of 5 minus 1? So again, I'm going to write it out. I think it's a good practice to write it out again. So for this one, I'm going to multiply this one by the square root of 5 and the negative 1. And then the 3 times the square root of 5 and then the 3 times negative 1. So with that, I'm going to just do equal. So 2 root 5 times square root of 5. So the square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. So that cancels out, so it's just 5. The square root cancels out, So that's just 5, and then times 2, that is 10. And then 2 times square root of 5 minus 1, or multiply negative 1, that's just minus 2 root 5. And then next, the 3 times square root of 5, that's just plus 3 square root of 5. And then 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So I'm going to write negative 3 down here. So I'm going to move over here. So now we can just simplify this. So the 10 and the negative 3, that gives me 7. And then negative 2 root 5 plus 3 root 5, that's just root 5. And that matches option B. Alright, number 6, what is the sum of 1 over 3 times root 25 and 1 over 2 times the cube root of 27? So the 1 over 3 times square root of 25, square root of 25 is 5, times 3, 15. So we have 1 over 15 plus, and then for this one, the cube root of 27 is 3. And then times 2 is 6, so we have 1 over 6. So now we just need to add these two fractions. So we need to find a common denominator. So we're going to go with 30. So 30 on both sides. So a number times 6, that gives me 30 is 5. So 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times the numerator, which is 1. So that's 5. And then 15 times what gives me 30, that's 2. So 2 times the denominator is 30, and then 2 times the numerator is 2. And so you add these two fractions, you get 7 over 30. Alright, number 7, we have the area of a square is 2 times square root of 2 plus 3. What is the length of a side of the square? So the area of a square, so we have a square, let's say x and x. The area of a square is x squared, right? X times x. So x squared is equal to 2 times root 2 plus 3. So what value of x gives me this? The 2 times root 2 plus 3. Let's see. So I'm just gonna take the square root, I believe, of this. So it's x is equal to plus or minus square root of 2 times root 2 plus 3. And we'll just take the positive version of that. Let's see. So that's just... So for this one would be equal to square root of 2 plus 1. And you can check how that is. It's a pretty long process, but you get B. So for number A, we have which expression represents the quotient. So we have this expression right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the 8. So each of, so I'm going to divide this by that, right? And then the 4x by this. So let's see. Actually, I'm gonna split this. So we have 8x to the power of 6 times z to the power of 4 divided by 4x squared times z plus 4x to the power of 4 z squared divided by 4x squared times z. And so we're just gonna simplify this. So this one should be this should be 2, and then of course the powers, we can subtract them, so it's 2x to the power of 4 times z to the power of 3, and then plus. So here the 4 will cancel, so we have, and then subtract the powers, so we have x to the power of 2 and then z. So that matches option A. And then for number 9, we have which expression represents the quotient. So for this one, let's see, what can we do here? Okay, so I'm gonna write it out. 4x squared times y divided by 8xy squared. All this is divided by, I'm gonna put these in parentheses, divided by 12xy squared divided by 8x to the power of 6 y cubed. And so I'm gonna write this as 4x squared times y divided by 8xy squared times the reciprocal of the 12x, so it's going to be 8x to the power of 6 times y cubed divided by 12xy squared. Okay, hopefully I wrote this correctly. And so I'm just going to multiply it out. So we'll get 32x to the power of 8, y to the power of 4, and then the denominator we'll get 96 times x squared. Remember the you add the powers when you multiply x and x, so you get x squared. And same goes for the y squared times y squared, that is y to the power of 4. And so now we can just simplify this. 32 over 96, oh, that's just 3, so 1/3, so 3 goes in the denominator. Yeah, you can write the 1 if you want. And then x to the power of 8 divided by x to the power of 2, we can subtract the power, so it's just going to be x to the power of 6. So x to the power of 6 goes in the numerator. And then y to the power of 4 divided by y to the power of 4, that you can cancel that one out. So our answer is C. Alright, for number 10, we have which expression represents the quotient. So we have to deal with another division problem right here. So we have y squared minus 4y minus 32 divided by y plus 4. Alright, so we're gonna divide. So we're gonna do long division. So we'll do y plus 4, and then we're gonna divide 9 squared minus 4y minus 32. Alright. So let's see, what can we do? I'm gonna multiply a positive y. So y times y is gonna be, so we're gonna do minus y squared. And then y times, and I know my 4 looks like a y, so I'm going to rewrite that. Still looks like a y. Minus 4y. And so what would that? So the y squared will cancel out. Minus negative 4y minus 4y, that's just negative 8y minus 32. We bring the negative 32 down. So we have negative 8y minus 32. So now what can we do? Well, I'm gonna multiply by negative 8. So negative 8 times y, that's negative 8y. Well, we're gonna change the sign. So that's just positive 8y. And then negative 8 times 4, that's negative 32. But we're gonna change sign. So that's just 32. And so that cancels out to be 0. And so our answer is A. And the reason why we change signs is that's how we do in long division. Actually, there's supposed to be like a negative. So it should be like a negative right here in parentheses, and then these are positive if you want. But not right there. Negative right here. And then well, you are subtracting. So here's supposed to be a negative 8y minus negative 32, and then you change the sign. This is just 8y plus 32, and then that just cancels out to be 0. So A is our answer. So that is it for the first 10 questions. It was a good practice to definitely a good practice to review algebra. So let me know if you got all of them correct, and we will continue on the next 10 problems for the next video.